For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today, and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
News team, assemble!
Joining us live, because if you want to know anything about the Outer Banks, Sam Walker's the dude to fill you in.
The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli.
Always appreciate talking to you.
Always good stuff with Sam Walker in the Outer Banks.
Now here's Les Nessman and the news.
Thank God it's Friday!
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to OBX Today Live, presented by Gallup Funeral Services on the OBX Today Facebook page and the Sam Walker OBX YouTube channel. Glad to have you with us on this Friday morning. Yes, indeed.
Thank God it's Friday!
And we are getting ready for another SnowBX. Not quite as SnowBX's. All right. No, that didn't make sense. Not quite SnowBXy as we originally were thinking we'd see this time yesterday, but it's coming. We're going to get some snow. We're going to get a little bit more rain out of this thing than we were originally looking at in the forecast this time yesterday and even the day before that, but still enough to cause us some travel headaches. Folks to our north, you're going to get it and get it good. Eastern Shore's under a blizzard warning. Trying to recall the last time I saw one of those. It's been a while since we saw blizzard warnings close to us here in northeastern North Carolina. All right, so let's jump into what the National Weather Service has sent us this morning. We'll start with our usual look at the Newport Morehead City briefing, since that's what is on the beach. That's what their handle, the Outer Banks. So here's what their briefing is calling for. Light snow can make travel hazardous, reducing visibilities and making roads, especially bridges, slippery. 1 to 2 inches of snow along and roughly north of US 264, the Pamlico River. So Hyde County, Beaufort County, Terrell, Washington, Dare County mainland, and then across the Albemarle Sound, looking at 1 to 2 inches out of this thing. On the beaches, north of Oregon Inlet, to dusting to 1 inch, maybe 2 inches the farther north you go. There is a possibility of a little bit of minor sound side overwash, a little bit of minor ocean overwash too on Hatteras and Ocracoke, mainly on Hatteras with the ocean side from Rodanthe to Cape Point. We're now under a winter weather advisory that begins tonight at midnight and will last until Saturday afternoon. That includes northern beaches. Corolla's not in that. Currituck's not in it. Lower Currituck, but the rest of the region is in a winter weather advisory. Again, the snowfall amounts, we're looking at probably 1 to 2 inches north of Rodanthe, maybe a dusting along the Pamlico River shoreline, but as you get up closer to the Albemarle Sound along US 64, it's 1 to 2 inches. That obviously is why we do have the winter weather advisories. It's going to cause those travel problems. Even though it's not going to be to the severity we had last week, it's still enough to cause headaches for those folks who've got some travel planned for tomorrow. All right, so things get started tonight. Afternoon, we'll start to see a few showers coming on shore from the low that's starting to develop off the southeast coast. We may see some heavier embedded downpours with this, but for the most part, it's going to be along US 17 east. They're going to start getting the rain tonight and into the overnight hours. Then we just kind of transition. It's going to stay rain until probably around 3 a.m. That's when we'll start seeing the transition, and it's not going to be a lot. You notice one thing that's changed is that we've got this huge dry area in here. It really is because the track of the storm system now seems it's going to be a little bit farther offshore, so the bulk of the moisture is not going to make its way onshore like originally the earlier forecast had thought. So we're looking at a rain-snow mix for the North Beaches and on into interior sections of northeast North Carolina, starting around 3 a.m. or so. Then by 5 a.m., it's more of a snow event going on for the Albemarle area, north of the Sound, rain-snow mix south, snow showers off to the west, and on out towards the central part of the state, actually looking a little bit more snow. And then we fill in all snow by 8 a.m. on Saturday. It's pretty much become an all-snow event for just about everybody except for Hatteras and Ocracoke, of course. Sorry, guys. And then that snow continues and starts to taper off by midday. Still snow around through lunchtime, and then it's out of here by the afternoon. Now, so 1 to 2 inches of snow possible. The big story that's going to follow this is that because we're going to get a snowpack in here, we're going to have some pretty decent northwest flow over a lot more snow up to our north and west, or to the northwest, up into Virginia and on up into the mid-Atlantic. That's going to allow this Arctic air to filter in behind the storm system. And we're going to get down into the teens inland and into the low 20s on the beaches. Even on Hatteras and Ocracoke, you're looking at low 20s for tomorrow night into Sunday morning. Could even see some single digits as you get up into north to Virginia. We'll look at that briefing in just a second. That's whatever's on the roads will definitely freeze. Wind chills are going to be in the single digits, especially where the wind stays up as we go into the overnight. Max wind gusts out of this storm system, pretty typical for a nor'easter or any coastal storm in the 40s. And we do have a wind advisory for the beaches south of Duck. From Duck down to Ocracoke is under our wind advisory. Gale warnings, a few isolated power outages possible. One thing that we have had with all this rain we got with the storm last week, washed all that salt buildup that we'd had on the power lines. That's why we had that issue in Kill Double Hills last week when we had the power outage Friday afternoon when the winds kicked up. Get all that salt buildup on the transformers, insulators, and fuses, and that could cause those power issues. It may have some scattered power outages. We got lucky last week with that ice storm that was down in south and west of us. And power outages are a possibility with that winds. Again, the sound side flooding and the ocean side flooding anywhere from Morgan Inlet down to Cape Point. Could see it with tomorrow night's high tide and the Sunday morning high tide. We are coming up on the new moon cycle. We're down to a thin crescent. New moon is coming up this week. So we are on a higher tide cycle. We're not at the highest, thankfully, for this month. Next tide change, high tides, 5:03 a.m. Oregon Inlet tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. tomorrow evening, then 6 and 6:30 on Sunday. So tomorrow night's high tide around 5:30 and Sunday morning high tide at 6. That's when we're probably looking at the best chance at getting any ocean overwash, maybe a little bit of sound side of 1 to 2 feet. We're south of Rodanthe Saturday into Saturday night for very low-lying areas and those typical trouble spots on Highway 12. The winds, though, probably going to cause a blowing sand issue. We don't want to leave that out because we have seen that with the last couple of storms on Pea Island. With that wind out 40, it's blowing out of the northwest, so it's not blowing over those rebuilt dunes, say in the canal zone. It's going to be kind of blowing the north to northwest. We'll probably see some of that blowing sand that could cause some problems on Highway 12, especially on Pea Island, mainly on Pea Island, because of the blowing sand. So keep that in mind as well. All right, so to sum it all up for the Outer Banks and the area south of the Albemarle Sound. Moderate impacts along and north of Highway 264. 1 to 2 inches along 264. Highest amounts along Highway 64 with isolated amounts up to 3 inches possible, especially areas adjacent to the Albemarle Sound. Hazardous travel after midnight tonight through Saturday morning due to falling temperatures and snowfall. It's mainly inland areas. Will really be early tomorrow morning when we see it on the beach. And some strong winds bringing some minor soundside water level rises from Rodanthe and minor ocean overwash for Hatteras Island north of Cape Point. All right, we'll switch over now to the Wakefield Briefing. And here is their latest winter storm warning still in effect. So Currituck's under the winter storm warning, while winter weather advisory for areas interior sections. That's one change. Whereas we had that winter storm watch earlier. Now it's a winter storm warning for Currituck and into the south side, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, on the peninsula and on up along the Chesapeake Bay. Winter weather advisory for the interior counties north of the Albemarle Sound. That red you see on that map, that is a blizzard warning for the eastern shore of Virginia. Let me zoom down on that just so you can see that better. Yes, that is a blizzard warning. Accomack, all the folks up on the eastern shore, they're going to get hammered out of this one, it looks like. All right, total snowfall accumulation, still looking at 2 to 3 inches. That's a little bit of a bump up. And it's about the same, 2 to 3 inches. As you can see, that blue, the darker blue, for right along the beach, right along the Currituck Sound. It looks like where I'm at, and then on up into Currituck. Let's see, Coinjop, Barco, Currituck, Tulls Bay, Moyock, Gibbs Woods, Knott's Island, Corolla. Possibly 3 to 4 inches of snow out of this. So that's a little change because we had gone back into the 2 to 3 area with the last update yesterday afternoon. Then it really tapers off as you head west. 2 to 3 Elizabeth City drops off as you get to Hertford down to about an inch. Edenton about an inch, and then Windsor less than an inch. And then, of course, going on up north to the eastern shore, 8 to 12 on up towards Salisbury, and even higher as you get over to Ocean City, or just inland of Ocean City. They could get more than a foot of snow. We don't even go into what's going on up north. It seems like all the TV networks are pretty much losing their minds because they could get anywhere from 2 to 40 inches of snow. 2 inches to 40 inches of snow up there. Highest amounts, most likely, we're seeing at least 2 inches of snow. That's that red area. The red area up here, about at least 4. The extremes, they like to put out these extreme maps. It's a low likelihood of seeing anything above 6 here, but it's not possible. The worst case scenario. Wow. Okay. So the worst case scenario would be 6 inches to 8 inches. That's just, again, it's just a 10% chance of that happening. So we'll just draw along past that. We showed you a map earlier as far as when the precipit's going to start. You can see this is a real cluster of when it's going to start because of this rain and warmer air that's going to be filtering in with the onshore flow to start the storm before it goes to the northwest. Looks like probably 1 a.m., anywhere in the range of 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. up on the northern parts of northeast North Carolina. Wind gusts could see some 30 to 40s for the interior areas. This is, again, what we're talking about for that cold that we're expecting. Really cold weather for Saturday night into Sunday morning, looking at like 6 degrees for a wind chill in Elizabeth City, maybe even down to 0 as you get closer to the Sound and into Corolla. Coastal flood threat, just a minor flood threat for Duck. We talked about it earlier with the onshore. The onshore flow is not going to last all that long, so we're really not expecting to see a lot of oceanside flooding. It's really going to be the Sound side again down, and again, it's going to be minor. 40 to 50 knot gust, roughly 45 knot gust. Get on offshore, it's into the 50s and 60s. So that's what Wakefield is talking about as far as their summary goes. So that's where we stand right now. Again, snowfall forecast, looked at that earlier. Let's see if they've updated. Yeah, that's what we just got a little while ago. Again, looks like the higher amounts are going to be closer to the state line as usual, where the beaches are going to get maybe a dusting to 2 inches. Let's see. I wanted to hit over here because this gives you an idea of what the National Weather Service is thinking as you get on up north. We talked about the Eastern Shore in the foot, 8 to 12 inches. The Cape Cod probably in the 30s. They're talking feet of snow up there as it's a true blizzard. So that just gives you an idea. And let me see if I can scroll down on this. Oh, no, got to hit I want to zoom down. Yeah, you can see under a winter storm warning here in Currituck. Winter weather advisory for the beaches, but everything like blizzard warnings all up along the coast, the mid-Atlantic and into New England. All right, what's the model say? Models say pretty much what we expected, just a little bit farther offshore. The GFS has got our low at noon today, having formed off Florida, but way offshore. And that's why the moisture isn't going to be as prevalent with this for us. Now, by 6 p.m. tonight, the low has made its way towards the coast. It's right out there, Diamond Shoals, right over the right over the Gulf Stream. Gets out there, kind of meanders around a little bit. Drops down below 1,000 millibars. Start seeing that tightening gradient around the system itself. And then on up, it sprints out by 6 a.m. The low is already up off of New Jersey and Cape Cod with the moisture wrapping around it. Drops to 982, 977 off the coast of Maine. Still, that's kind of weird. It just kind of backs up. Yeah, the models didn't like that on Sunday. I think this might be this is where things get kind of squirrely with watching these computer models that closely. Still looking at a pretty stout 968 millibar storm as it heads up towards the Maritimes of Canada. And that's hurricane. All right, winds. Let's see. Here's the European, what the winds are thinking. We'll just play this through to show you what the European model has. That's as of this morning. Here's this afternoon. Here's tonight, right off of us wrapping up. Now, that's one thing. The European model seems to want to put this thing closer to shore than the GFS. Or the GFS, close. There's pretty decent agreement there in terms of how close they are to the coast. But the European really wants to put that thing in a lot closer to us as far as the winds go. That's tomorrow morning. It's already up off New Jersey, and you're seeing that northwest flow almost parallel to the coast. That pushes the soundside water into Hatteras and Ocracoke, whereas it keeps the ocean side from really being a problem. So we're not going to see a long period of north fetch out of this, really tonight into tomorrow. So that's probably going to keep us from really seeing a major, that's what's keeping us from seeing any major issues from the ocean side as far as the winds go. It's still going to be angry surf. We're still going to get a dune run up at high tide, but it's going to be that minor ocean overwash. Really not much to it. All right? Okay. So there you go. That's the latest on our storm. If you're just jumping in, I can scroll it back real quick. We started with this, just give you the idea of snowfall totals. 1 to 2 from Oregon Inlet north on the beach. 1 to 2 inches, Oregon Inlet north. You get across the Albemarle Sound, going up to Corolla. 2 to 3, possibly 3 to 4 up there. All right, take a break and come back here on OBX Today Live here on YouTube and Facebook, presented by Gallup Funeral Services. Glad to have you along with us on this Friday morning. We're back after this.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
Our pet of the week for this week is Dorothy. Dorothy has been with us at the shelter for far too long and just wants to click her heels together to disappear to her forever home. Dorothy is 13 years old and was found as a stray. She may only have one eye, but that doesn't stop her from finding you and getting tons of love. She is super affectionate and very healthy for her age. To adopt Dorothy or foster one of our other animals, you can come visit us Monday through Sunday at our shelter located in Manio. The Donna Hannah Walker Fund has allowed the SPCA to waive all adoption fees of senior animals, so Dorothy is able to be taken home free of adoption fees. For more information, visit our website at www.obxspca.org or visit our OBX SPCA Facebook page.
Back on this Friday edition of OBX Today Live on Facebook and YouTube, presented by Gallup Funeral Services. Make sure you mash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell, and know whenever we go live. Daily Advance got a story this morning on the Mid-Currituck Bridge. The Currituck County Commissioners are holding their annual retreat yesterday. And State Representative Bobby Hannig, who's a former chairman of the Currituck Board of Commissioners, spoke with his former, of course, he's in his second term now in the legislature and the state house and is getting ready to make a run for the state senate this year. Hannig told the commissioners that things are moving forward on the Mid-Currituck Bridge, and he is saying 2023 construction is going to start. According to the Daily Advance, Hannig told commissioners that the DOT suspended movement on the bridge several weeks before ruling in December from a federal judge that ruled in favor of DOT and the Federal Highway Commission, clearing the way for the bridge's construction. This is over a lawsuit, the Southern Environmental Law Center, along with two local groups who oppose the bridge, citing environmental concerns that brought 3 years ago to stop construction, saying that the documents that were used by the Federal Highway Administration along with DOT were invalid and needed to be redone. And essentially they're trying to just delay the bridge. Even though they want to stop it, this was a tactical move to try and delay it, which they were successful in doing, delaying another 3 years. And, of course, the bridge was in a progressive state. The state had bought the Eastern Landing property over in Corolla, and we're working on buying the property that they need on the mainland side for it when this lawsuit was filed. And then, of course, the coronavirus pandemic hits, and DOT and the North Carolina Turnpike Authority decide to shift all their construction projects because with the drop in the gas tax in revenue in North Carolina, it was anticipated because of, with the shutdowns and all that happened in March of 2020 into the spring, that the revenue picture was already bad for NCDOT and it just made it worse. So they had suspended movement. They had slowed down. They had started moving forward again on things with the bridge, but then had suspended. But Bobby Hannig, Representative Hannig, saying that NCDOT is moving forward again. They have commenced doing everything again, land acquisitions, and they're moving forward. He says they're building the bridge. It's going to happen. That's a direct quote from Representative Bobby Hannig. Spokesman for the NC Turnpike Authority, which is in charge of the Mid-Currituck Bridge, did not immediately return an email from the Daily Advance seeking comment. Kathleen Sullivan, who is the Southern Environmental Law Center's Senior communications manager for North Carolina said Thursday that Selk had not appealed the federal court's decision in December as of yet. They have indicated that they are going to consider an appeal. Representative Hannig said the funding's in place for what will be the longest bridge in this complex in the state. It's 7.4 miles. Costs around $464 million. Estimated the cost about $14 million for the right-of-ways. It still has to be purchased, and utilities around $11 million. Hannig says that the bridge is funded. The bridge has never not been funded. But that's where things stand as far as the Mid-Currituck Bridge, at least in terms of what Representative Bobby Hannig said yesterday to Currituck commissioners, that it is going to move forward and that construction is going to start in 2023. We'll see. It's been 3 decades now. The Mid-Currituck Bridge has been talked about. Merman Dan asking about jug handle. Looks like March is the latest update we've got on when the jug handle bridge will open to traffic. If you go back a couple weeks ago or here earlier this month, it was announced there's going to be a 5K run and 5 mile run, a run walk, 5K and a 5 miler on the jug handle bridge at Rodanthe. We've seen a tentative date now of March 12th for that. Which means that most likely construction is going to finish here this month in February. And then just like what they did during before the Bass Night Bridge, when they opened it to the public for a walk, they allowed that to happen after they got most of the construction done. And then a couple of days later, they opened the bridge. So it looks like probably mid-March is when the jug handle bridge is going to open if things stay on track with construction down in Rodanthe. All right, yesterday, the Lost Colony announced, or a letter was posted on the Lost Colony's website from John Ancona. He's been general manager since December 2020 of the nation's longest-running outdoor symphonic drama, and announced that he is leaving as general manager after just 1 season. Now, no replacement for Ancona has been announced. The change comes just over a month after a report from a select panel analyzed challenges and addressed complaints from cast, crew, and even alumni during the 2021 season. After a year off in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the first season it's missed since World War II. The Lost Colony made a comeback in summer 2020 with significant cultural changes. The biggest was that they would no longer hire white actors to play Native American roles. Roanoke Island Historical Association, which produces the Lost Colony, reached out to the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina for artistic guidance and in search of indigenous actors. And the association board also brought on an associate choreographer, Jared Totocini, a Native American dancer and choreographer originally from New Mexico on the Navajo Reservation. The 84 season ran relatively smoothly, although there were a number of complaints as things rolled on about a variety of things. The final week of the season, however, to be canceled after a cluster of coronavirus cases among the cast and crew, and some other factors, including one of the leads who played Wanchese leaving because he was going back to college. He's not an actor. He's a engineering student at, I believe, not UNC Pembroke, but as an engineering student, he had to get back to college. So that last week, they didn't even have the lead role of Wanchese filled. So that was some of the things that happened there. There were a lot of complaints about the housing situation at Morrison Grove with a lot of problems out there. There was also just a whole variety of problems that were reported at various times, and that this committee was put together to try and address some of those issues. In late fall, the association's board received a report for the Community Relations Committee that found operational and communications problems must be remedied next season. Said concerns and criticisms about creative aspects of the show should be communicated to director Jeff Whiting for consideration ahead of this year's production. They also said some of the allegations were unfounded. The committee also said the show's leadership including Ancona, Whiting, and Roanoke Island Historical Association Chairman Kevin Bradley, quote, acted appropriately under difficult circumstances. Prior to his hiring in December 2020, John Ancona served as Director of Entertainment and Events for Hirshend Family Entertainment and was managed festival and live entertainment product and personnel for Silver Dollar City out in Branson, Missouri. And prior to that, he worked for Norwegian Cruise Lines. So we've got that letter from Ancona announcing his departure. He says he's headed back to Charlotte for a company, or in the Charlotte area for a job out there. So no word on who's going to be the general manager of the Lost Colony for the upcoming season. We have heard that they are already making some changes. Of course, we talked about it earlier. They've put new seats in at Waterside Theater as well this year. But some of the changes are going to happen with the production. We'll see what happens over the next couple of months as auditions are going to be coming up soon for 2022. There are a number of things that need to be addressed and are being addressed from what we understand. And some of the things that haven't been addressed with the Lost Colony and its management. Mega Millions jackpot up to $420 million for tonight. It's going to be at least that. Probably going to get up closer to about 440 by the time it's all said and done. We'll take a break and come back here on OBX Today Live on Facebook and YouTube. I'm Sam Walker. Glad to have you along with us on this Friday morning.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today, and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
All right, back on OBX Today Live here on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you mash the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell to know whenever we go live. I'm going to play for you now a video that was put together back in the summer for the town of Duck. And with the next blow that we're getting out of the storm system, and folks, one thing we like to do, living out here on the water now, is explore the shoreline, explore the sound when the water goes out. Well, if you're over in Duck and you think about doing that, it may not be the wisest decision because of what used to be over in Duck. And, in fact, personal experience with finding some of those artifacts of the bombing ranges that used to be over there. Our family members found some stuff not too long, a couple of years ago, while they were walking along the shorelines. Anyway, thought I'd play this for you today here on OBX Today Live. So check it out.
Welcome to the town of Duck, North Carolina. Duck is a thriving coastal community where residents value and respect the dynamic barrier island environment. Visitors come from all over to enjoy the clean waters, beaches, maritime forests, wetlands, and dunescapes. Whether you are a resident or visitor, you will enjoy exploring the town of Duck. Before you start out on your own adventure, you need to know about one section of Duck that used to be a Navy bombing and rocket target range. This history means that there is a potential danger from unexploded training items that are still present in that area today. From 1941 to 1965, the Department of the Navy used 176 acres of land called the Duck Target Facility as a bombing and target range. During this period, U.S. Navy aircraft from the Norfolk, Virginia area would fly to the target range and conduct practice bombing and rocket runs. Pilots entered the range complex from the west and fired eastward at land-based stationary targets. Historical information tells us that these targets were located in the portion of the site that is currently occupied by the Field Research Facility. This Engineer Research and Development Center was established in 1977 and still supports the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers coastal engineering mission today. The training rockets and practice bombs used on the duck target facility were fitted with spotting charges for marking by ground personnel. Debris from these items could still pose an explosive hazard today. Pilots using the targets were training, and those training rockets and bombs were known to have periodically fallen short, wide, and long of their intended targets. There is the possibility of these training items still being present, not only on the 176 acres that were the duck target facility, but also on the land north or south of the targets, in the Currituck Sound to the west, or in the Atlantic Ocean to the east. To keep you and your family safe, everyone must understand the dangers of handling or disturbing munitions. Children are naturally curious and interested in exploring areas or handling equipment used by the military. Adults have also been known to collect military souvenirs, mistakenly believing they are no longer hazardous. If you come across a munition, or even think you might have come across a munition, don't touch, move, or disturb it in any way. If they explode, anyone nearby could be killed or severely injured. Follow the 3 R's of explosive safety and teach them to your family. Recognize, retreat, report. Recognize when you may have come across a munition and that munitions can be dangerous. Retreat, do not approach, touch, move, or disturb a suspect munition, but carefully leave the area. Report immediately what you saw and where you saw it to the Duck Fire Department or call 911.
Go on. What are you doing? Come on, throw me the frisbee. Check this out. Whoa, stop. Don't touch it. I think it's an old bomb or rocket or something. But this used to be a Navy target range.
Are you serious? That's so cool. We have to get it.
No, seriously, don't touch it. Stay back here. People can die or get really hurt from messing with these. It could still blow up.
All right, calm down. It looks so old. I bet it doesn't even work.
Trust me, my mom was telling me about this. It doesn't matter what it looks like. She even talked about a Civil War cannonball that blew up, and that's probably way older than this is. Hey, give me the frisbee. Let's get out of here. Hi, yeah, I wanted to report something that my friend and I found on the beach. I think it's an old bomb or rocket or something. It's pretty rusty, so I'm not really sure, but... Yeah, could you meet us at the beach access on Sandy Ridge Road, and we can show you?
Munitions are designed to injure or kill people or destroy equipment. They might be old or new and easy or hard to identify. The age or appearance of the item is no sign of the degree of danger it may present. Even cannonballs from the Civil War still present an explosive hazard. Follow the 3 R's of explosive safety. Recognize, retreat, report. Recognize when you may have come across a munition and that munitions are dangerous. Retreat, do not approach, touch, move, or disturb a suspect munition, but carefully leave the area. Report. Immediately report what you saw and where you saw it to the Duck Fire Department or call 911. Thanks for watching this video. Enjoy your time exploring all that Duck, North Carolina has to offer. Remember, if you think you've come across a munition, follow the 3 R's to stay safe. Recognize, retreat, report.
All right, so again, just thought I'd play that today since we got this blow coming in again and folks looking for something to do after the snow gets out of here, walking along the Sound over in Duck. Southern Shores, same thing. I mean, there are areas up and down there even that you can find things like this. So just keep that in mind if the water blows out any time of year, but especially with the storm like we got coming. All right, quick look at sports. First Light and Mania have made some schedule changes for tonight for basketball. So Mania is going to play at First Light and girls only. That's a makeup game. They've shifted the schedules around, and that gets things out of the way so they can get back onto a normal schedule. They'll be playing for the Battle for the Paddle tonight in Buxton, Ocracoke, and Cape Hatteras. Among the other games, Pungo Christian at Lawrence Academy, Northeast Prep at Perquimans, Gates at Bertie, Pasquotank at Edenton. First Flight won the Northeastern Coastal Conference Boys and Girls Swimming Championship over at the YMCA in Elizabeth City last night. Currituck won the Northeastern Coastal Conference Wrestling Championship again. College basketball yesterday, Memphis blows out East Carolina 71-54. Tomorrow noon start, Duke travels to Louisville. Of course, they're going to be Cardinals going to get a new coach after Chris Mack resigned. State and Carolina at 2 o'clock in Chapel Hill tomorrow. They are going to honor Roy Williams at that game. Surprise, they're going to do it against State. As the Heels try to go to 12-0 at home. And the Wolfpack tries to get some ice cream. And then Wake Forest at Syracuse tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. The conference championship games on Sunday in the NFL. AFC at 3:05, Cincinnati, Kansas City. NFC, San Francisco, and the LA Rams at 6:40. And Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger confirms he's retiring after 18 seasons. All right, so the OBX Today Weather Center forecast. We're just going to run through a quick summary of what we're expecting with our coastal storm. Today, we'll see rain developing in the afternoon. It's going to be partly to mostly cloudy. High of 48, north winds 10 to 15, some gusts of 20 at times on the beaches. Rain tonight, then possibly mixed with snow as we get into the early morning hours. Low right around freezing. It's going to be blustery. North winds 15 to 20, gusts to 30. Rain and snow likely mixed on Saturday with a high 35. This is the forecast for Nags Head. Kind of varies depending where you're at on the beach. Saturday night, clear and 24. Northwest winds 20 to 30 miles an hour. So it's going to feel like it's in the single digits with the wind chill. Sunny, 35 Sunday. Monday, 44 and sunny. Tuesday, sunny, 49. Wednesday, showers and 53. Thursday, showers and 56. Inland areas may get back into 60s by this time next week. Maybe even 70 for some spots. Yep. Welcome to North Carolina. That's your Nags Head forecast with a winter weather advisory and a wind advisory going up for tonight, overnight. At Buxton, it's just going to be rain and cold. Just a cold rain with a little bit of snow flurries mixed in Saturday before things wrap up Saturday afternoon. Wind advisory down there. For Currituck in Elizabeth City, you're looking at rain changing to snow after midnight. Snow likely in the morning through midday. Elizabeth City 1 to 2 inches, maybe 2 to 3. 3 to 4 for Currituck. 1 to 2 inches of snow for the beaches south of Corolla. Down to Oregon Inlet, and then over to the 64 corridor, you could see 2 to 3 inches. You go back, those of you who are joining us here late, I want to catch the full briefing. I've got it for you right now at the beginning of the show, so you can just hit the rewind button right now, slide on back, hit the slider there, and slide right back on to the beginning. Or you can check out our story at obxtoday.com. It's got the full details. All right, got a briefing that's coming up at 9 o'clock from the National Weather Service. We want to jump on, so we're going to get out of here. Get our gear all set up to be able to watch that. We'll get that briefing video posted in our story at obxtoday.com, have some updated graphics. We'll get another briefing this afternoon for the National Weather Service. That'll be the final briefing going into the storm, and we'll likely do another video, at least have their video up on obxtoday.com. But we may do one more update for you tonight. We'll definitely do some coverage tomorrow. Of course, we'll have all the photos, video, all that stuff throughout the storm, as we usually do at obxtoday.com. All right? Have a great weekend, everybody, and we will talk to you later on. Stay warm. Make sure you mash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell to know whenever we go live. It's OBX Today Live, presented by Gallup Funeral Services on Facebook and YouTube. We'll see you later on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.